What if you had a map, not for some far-off country, but for the wild, intricate landscape of your very own mind? Well, today we're diving into exactly that. We're looking at the Yogacara School's ancient and yet incredibly practical guide to meditation. And let me tell you, this is about so much more than just finding a moment of calm. This is about becoming a true, skilled navigator of your own inner world. Right from the get-go, the goal here is incredibly ambitious. The text puts it plainly, it's all about gaining mastery. This isn't about just accidentally stumbling into a peaceful state. No, this is about being able to access profound focus and tranquility whenever you choose. We're talking about those deep states of meditative concentration, or dhyana. Just think about it, it's like having the keys to every single room inside your own mind. All right, so here's our game plan for today. First, we're going to unpack this whole map of the mind idea. Then, we'll look for the 4 main gateways to get started. After that, we'll explore the different kinds of concentration, trace the path all the way to real liberation, and finally, see what it really means to achieve that complete mastery. So what's the big deal with this map? Well, the Yogacara School wasn't interested in just abstract philosophy. They were engineers of the mind, and they created a practical step-by-step guide to consciousness itself. Imagine a super detailed topographical map, but for your mind, showing all the peaks of bliss, the valleys of distraction, and every hidden path in between. Okay, so we've got our map laid out. The first question is pretty obvious, right? Where do we even start? The teachings are actually very specific about this. They talk about these gateways, which are the essential conditions you need to enter these deep states of concentration. And that brings us to the question every single meditator asks at some point. What does it really take to go deep? Is it just about gritting your teeth and trying harder? As we're about to see, the Yogacara answer is way more sophisticated and honestly more complete. And here it is, the secret sauce, broken down into what they call the 4 powers. First up, you've got cause power. Think of this as your innate talent, or maybe a head start from past efforts. Then comes means power. And this is the big one for most of us. It's your consistent, disciplined practice, the daily grind. Next, there's discourse power, which is all about understanding the why. Studying the theory, so you actually know what you're doing. And last, but definitely not least, is instruction power. Getting guidance from a real skilled teacher. What's so amazing here is that it's not just one of these things. The real magic happens when all 4 come together. It's the synergy that truly unlocks the gates. So let's say you're through the gateways. What do you find on the other side? Well, this is where the map gets even more interesting, because it shows us that not all states of concentration are created equal. In fact, some of them can actually be traps. This right here is a critical fork in the road for any practitioner. On one side, you have the craving-associated states. This is when you get hooked on the blissful feelings that can come with meditation. It feels amazing, but it's a trap. It's like stopping halfway up a mountain just to admire the nice view, instead of pushing on to the summit. On the other side, you have the pure states. This is when you realize that even bliss is just another passing feeling. You use your concentration not for pleasure, but to see reality more clearly and to truly purify your mind. This leads to another brilliant insight. Your practice is never static. It's always moving in one of 4 directions. There's regression, where your focus is shaky and you feel like you're losing ground. There's stagnation, where you're stable, but you're stuck in that comfy, blissful state we just talked about. Then there's progress, where you're unsatisfied with that comfort and you're actively striving for something deeper. And finally, there's penetration, the trajectory that leads to a genuine, game-changing breakthrough. And it's that path of penetration that takes us to the ultimate destination on our map. We're not just talking about temporary peace anymore. We're talking about a profound, lasting freedom, which the text calls the 8 liberations. Now, the 8 liberations are a really deep subject, but we can think of it as a journey of letting go in 3 major stages. First, you work on gaining freedom from form. This means letting go of your attachment to the physical world, everything you see and hear, and even the images inside your own head. Then you go deeper to freedom in the formless. Here, you start to master states of pure consciousness, things like infinite space or infinite awareness, totally untied from any physical feeling. And the final step, freedom from perception itself. This is the ultimate letting go, the cessation of the very mental process that creates a me and a you. It's about taking apart your reality at the most fundamental level to find true freedom. So after all that, what does it actually look like when someone reaches the end of this path? What does the mastery we talked about at the very beginning really feel like? The text uses this beautiful phrase for it: perfuming the mind. The idea is that deep meditation stops being just an activity you do for an hour a day. Its qualities start to seep into your entire being, into your whole life, like a subtle, beautiful fragrance. This is the hallmark of mastery: being able to enter and exit any meditative state you want, whenever you want, seamlessly. And the rewards for this incredible journey? They're huge. We're talking about a real, tangible joy in your day-to-day life. You get established on a spiritual path where you don't backslide. You purify your mind and unlock higher virtues. And ultimately, you get that thing we were promised at the start: complete freedom and total mastery over your inner world. So, if you take away just one thing from this entire map, let it be this. This path isn't about just passively sitting around hoping for calm to show up. It's an active, dynamic, and totally intentional process of transformation. It's about fundamentally rewiring your mind. So there you have it. The ancient masters have laid out the chart for us. They've shown us the gateways, the terrain, the pitfalls to avoid, and the ultimate prize. The map has been revealed. And so the only question left to ask is, what will your journey look like?